Hello viewers, welcome back to the Post Pollock channel. Today, I'm here to talk about a prankster, but not about the pranks he's performed necessarily, but let's call it the pranking that's going to be played upon him by the Filipino government. I'm talking about a guy named Vitaly. Now, I've written down his last name. If I don't pronounce it correctly, please don't fault me. It's Zadorovetsky, I believe. But he's known as Vitaly. Vitaly has done, but just think of every kind of prank you could ever think of and everything that would annoy people, things that might be illegal, things that would just get most citizens outraged if it was played upon them or they preyed upon, I should say, anybody you know. Well, he's gotten into trouble in the past in the United States. He was born in Russia, but he has permanent residency status in the United States. And he's got quite a following because of the outrageous things he does. Well, as we've been seeing lately, there are pranksters who want to go international. We saw Johnny Somali's problems over in the Far East, and now Vitaly has his own problems. He has been arrested in the Philippines, and apparently this goes right up to the president of the Philippines who wants to see this guy get nailed to the wall. He's basically said it. And he's facing a number of charges for a variety of incidents. And mind you, this is not, I'm not reporting on new news. This is old news, but there are recent developments in this case that are news. But before I get to that development, just understand that he was filming himself throughout the Philippines, doing what pranksters do, acting like a jerk, doing things that would be illegal possibly in another country. Now he's finding out they indeed are illegal, and he got arrested. And of course, you know, he keeps shooting his mouth off. He just doesn't know when to shut up. These guys, they get very arrogant and they challenge people. Who's going to arrest me? I don't know. Well, they're going to show him. But he, among other things, he was shown stealing a motorcycle. He didn't actually ride it. He pushed it with his feet, if I recall. He took a security guard's gun out. He went in and, you know, made fun of businesses. There's all sorts of things. I will say this, and this is common with all these cases where a prankster is charged in another country or somebody's charged. I don't know Filipino law. I've tried to understand it through this case, but I will not pretend to say I know it. And I think everybody else is out there trying to guess or make educated guesses on what is going on, what is he charged with, how's it going to play out. Initial reports said he was going to face 20 years in prison. Now it's sounding like it is more like a year. And what I will say about this situation, any one of these situations, is it is what we call fluid. The nature of the final charges he'll face, what sort of sentencing he could face if convicted, exactly how the procedure will play out or how long it will take. I think we're going to learn that through Vitaly's own experience. He will probably, I assume they have, I've heard they have, an opportunity to enter into a plea agreement. Maybe he makes a public apology, which would be a smart thing for him to do at some point. And he will make an apology and he'll plead to a lesser charge. And then the question would be whether he would be required to go to jail. You know, he's trying to mitigate his criminality by apologizing. That's what we do in the U.S. People go to apologize, and then all of a sudden they've done something to show they give a hoot about what they did. Well, what happened most recently was I think Vitaly or someone was trying to get him moved from the Philippines back to the United States or Russia. As I mentioned, he's born in Russia, but he has permanent residency status in the U.S. Now, I believe, I'm not sure, but it appears that was related to a claim that he was unfit to stand trial. Why, I don't know. I think he is a little off kilter, but that's any of these pranksters. They just, I don't know what's going on in their heads. But the news this week, just the past 2 days, was that neither the United States nor Russia would take him. That means he's going to stay in the Philippines. He will face trial in the Philippines. And if, in fact, he's convicted, he will do his jail time in the Philippines. I believe I'm not sure if he's being held now or how bail works over there. But the little I know of Philippine prisons, this is not like the United States. You're not going to have the same rights or conditions or whatever you get in the United States. Not that our prisons are all that wonderful, but in general, general, they're a cakewalk compared to some of the foreign prisons. And from what I understand, the Philippines is one of those countries where it's not going to be a good time even to spend a week there, let alone a year or even 10 months. So that's where Vitaly is. I think he's going to be very soon coming to that point, and I mean by within the next few weeks, that point where he will be given the opportunity to enter into a plea agreement. Now, the problem he's got with fighting the charges, if what he did is illegal under Filipino law, I mean, a lot of the things he did would be illegal under U.S. law, or generalized. I say U.S. law. Every state has its own laws, but harassment, intimidation, assault, theft, things like that are pretty much the same in all states. So here he is. He's facing these charges, and if in fact what he did is illegal, the problem he's got is he videotaped himself. See, that's the yin and yang of this prankster business. If you get called on it by the authorities, and if you are charged with crimes, you've laid out all the evidence they need to prove it. Now, you add to that the fact that the political climate, as far as pranksters go, both here and around the world, is not pleasant. And in the Philippines, it's particularly unpleasant, the Far East, because these people go over, these pranksters go over, they make fun of them, they make fun of their culture, they attack businesses. It's just ugly stuff. And now they're going to be facing whether, I don't even know if you get a jury in the Philippines. I think it's more of a tribunal. I'm not sure how it works in the Philippines. But whoever it is going to be keeping in mind that this guy came to their country basically to have some fun at their expense. I also found it very interesting to read the charges that he was facing, or the generalized description of them. One of them is unjust vexation. That's where you cause emotional distress or disturbance to someone else. It sounds similar to harassment or maybe making terroristic threats here. Alarm and scandal. He's charged with causing widespread public alarm. Many states have provisions on the books that say that. And then also attempted theft, because he tried to steal a security guard's weapon, firearm, even though he returned it, but they can call it theft. He tried to run off, not drive off, run off with somebody's motor scooter. He's also charged, it could be harassment and assault. Looking some of the other incidents, attempting to rob a woman, or at least pretending he would, trespassing and recording people without their consent, apparently, whereas it's up for debate in some instances whether or not you can record without consent. In the Philippines, apparently, it's a lot different. You can't. And also, this one I found interesting. He's accused of posting false negative reviews about local businesses, also possibly vandalism. There's a whole list of charges. Whether he gets charged with all of them or whether they're prosecuted, again, keep your eyes posted on this story. But the most significant thing that happened this week was the fact that he perhaps thought he had an out to get back to the United States or to Russia to avoid going into a Filipino jail, if that is where this case is headed. And they both said no. Interestingly, the United States and Russia can certainly agree on that neither of them wants him off the hook. And I think pranksters, you should really take this into account if you're going to go play these games overseas, that the United States, the State Department, is not terribly crazy about this kind of nonsense. So you're not going to have a sympathetic ear when you call your U.S. embassy and say, oh, please get me out of this. This is unfair. And they start watching your videos. So this stuff gets real. And when it gets real, it can be a very, very perilous and unpleasant situation for you as a prankster sitting in a Filipino jail or a South Korean jail or wherever you get caught. In any event, I hope the pranksters settle down with this nonsense. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you click like, subscribe, and please leave your comments. Always love to hear from you. See you next time. This is Dave Epstein signing off for Post Pollock. Thank you.